hot tan. Huh. Yeah, I did use that shit, bro.
Yeah. Well, kind of off the cuff recording today. We didn't really.
I got a couple things, but
Yeah.
that'll be mentioned later on in the show.
No, well, welcome to this week's At Eastcast. You know, I'm Hesco. Ask James, and you know, coming off the heels of a pretty good interview with
Rob Taylor for
Rob Taylor, and
County Constable.
gotten a lot of good feedback from some of you guys. Things to improve. You know, 3 sustains, 3 improves. You know, somewhat. You know, just to kind of get this ball rolling and try to put out a better product for you guys. And but yeah, outside of that, I mean, it's been a busy week on other genres and other things, but as far as I'm doing, I mean, I haven't found a whole lot of, other than that enormous tragedy that's happening in Hawaii.
Yeah. Maui got hit by the perfect storm of fire and wind. So, I don't know if have they come out with what actually caused the fire, because I'm just assuming it got caused by a volcano.
Apparently, I can tell you from personal experience living in a hurricane prone part of the world, like living in Puerto Rico. We get them every year. Hurricane season is what we're in right now, August to almost winter. So, what the government does a lot when we have imminent landfall of a hurricane, they shut off power, water. All these things are just lessons learned from the past, where hurricanes made landfall and electrical infrastructure has been destroyed, and then it creates live wires arcing and causing all kinds of havoc and fires and stuff like that.
Right.
In a situation where first responders or any kind of emergency electrical services can't get out because of the nature of the hurricane. So those lessons were learned in spades during Hurricane Hugo. And then later Hurricane Andrew and stuff like that. But by then they had learned a little bit. So from what I gather, it was that. So they had not shut off the power. So there was live wires, and the wind, high category winds, knocked down a couple power lines. Power lines arced. The wind actually perpetrated, fueled the fire.
Yeah.
And it became one of the worst fires, if not the worst fire in American history, close to it. I mean, the closest thing we've seen to anything like that was the Chicago fire. The amount of deaths and destruction that it's caused is incalculable. What a lot of people are talking, that's just a bad taste in the mouth, man. Because the president of the United States was on vacation, about to start his vacation when this stuff happened. Granted, people ask public officials questions at the most inopportune times. As the leader of the free world, you gotta have something on ready to launch. When you're a public figure, you gotta be abreast of what's going on. Somebody asked you, even if you're golfing, hey, what's happening with Hawaii? Your answer shouldn't be no comment.
Yeah.
Which is, in essence, what he said, was no comment. No comment. Looky here, you have. If I ask you about Ukraine, you have comments. If I ask you about, if I accuse you of whatever with your son, which is the hot button topics that he's been getting grilled with, I bet you have a comment on that. But I mean, he's pretty quick to insult people. He's insulted people on live camera, I don't know how many times.
Right.
But you don't have anything. You can't even, man, my thoughts and prayers, nothing? Nothing, no comment? It's it's telling. You know what I mean? It's pretty much it's all you need to know about your sitting president. When a state is suffering the way they're suffering, and questions are asked of him about the state of that emergency, and he has no comment. That's insane to me.
Yeah. Another thing, I remember when Bush got the news about 9/11. Where was he? You remember that?
Well, he was at the reading those books at the little kids' school.
Yeah, reading books to little kids, like preschool or something like that.
Yeah, he was at that school.
Yeah.
So,
and he got the word from one of his attendants.
We're under attack.
Well, I think at that time, one plane had hit the building.
One plane had hit the building. Yeah. And
they were still actively under attack. I think at that point, if I remember right, nobody knew. At least the news wasn't coming out with it that if this was just an accident where a plane lost its way and flew into New York City under the lowest they're supposed to be able to fly in that city and hit a building. It was just a tragedy.
Right.
Or once the second plane hit, it was pretty obvious. Yeah, we're under attack. So.
Yeah, but I mean, so a couple of things, just to be on the realistic side of things. I mean, your president is not gonna, even at the worst of times, he's not gonna twirl around and change into a superhero outfit and take off on you, and then go fight the fight. That's not. Yeah. So people, this is some unrealistic expectations when it comes to what the president can or cannot do at that particular exact moment when he's told about a tragedy. However, you should at least, as a human, be able to say human things. I mean, we've all run into it. We've come into work and it's like, man, did you hear about so-and-so? Like, nah, what happened? I was like, oh man, this happened, that happened, that. I was like, damn, man. I said, that sucks. We didn't look at our friends and we're like, oh, no comment. You know what I mean? And just left. It's like, oh man.
Even if we had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
What they're talking.
I was like, what are you talking about, man? Like, it's one of those, like, he's incapable of having those human moments, where you can actually, like, interact with people. Like, what's the worst that could happen if you go up to the cameras and just they're asking some legit questions about something really, really bad.
Yeah.
You go like, look, I don't know all the details, but my best people are on it right now. And as soon as I get back, we're going to go ahead and take a broader look at the situation and see what additional assets. But I'm in communication with the governor and blah, 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 blah. Something.
Yeah.
Something.
That's the whole thing about something being better than nothing. So, I mean, what he gave was nothing. And now I think what his first comments on the situation in Hawaii was, more than 48 hours after the incident.
Right.
So, but the thing is, it's showing a track record too. I mean, look what happened to that chemical train that blew up. What was it, Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing. He had no comment on that. He had no idea what was going on. Like, people were asking him, it's like, what's going on with the chemical catastrophe in Ohio? Oh.
Well, I mean,
I had no idea.
Well, that's because he appointed people to positions based on race and gender.
Yeah.
Not qualifications.
Or sexual orientation.
Sexual orientations. Peter Buttigieg, he's in charge of transportation. Yeah. That dude ain't, not transportation or anything. They've asked him directly, straight up, about all these derailments and all the infrastructure issues that the rail systems are having.
Yeah.
He ain't got no answers. I mean, hell, he had the secretary of the freaking what was that?
Which one?
Admiral freaking whatever the hell.
Not a secretary. I found out the actual. I got this.
It's a
deputy secretary.
Deputy Secretary General, Master and Commander.
Yeah.
Freaking whatever her name is, its name is, or whatever.
His name is Richard.
Yeah.
Rachel Levine.
Yeah, Rachel Levine.
Rachel Levine.
Yeah.
Assistant Secretary for Health.
Yeah, for health. For health.
Yeah. Yeah,
for health.
Is Richard has 2 kids with his ex-wife.
which he made
Yeah.
with his dick.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, look, you can't make this up, man. Like, you wonder why people are so freaking lost in the sauce on this, and then this is one of the reasons why. You know, you got guys that are guys out there that just don't even know who they are anymore, and guys and gals, and you grab one of them and make him Secretary of Health. He's clearly doesn't know what's going on in his own head.
Yeah.
And
so that's the thing. He's actually got a pretty good career as a doctor and a researcher.
right.
And then to be made Assistant Secretary of Health, and I don't think he was qualified for that position in the first, but I think the only reason they put this individual in that position was because of his status as a trans person. That's it.
Yeah. It's the same thing, and it's a disservice to some of these people. Like for instance, when they put Ketanji Jackson, I forget what her role. I don't know if she's a Attorney General or.
The thing that kind of bothered me about Levine, though, so when Rachel Levine was Richard Levine, the research that this individual did was actually pretty specific. And I had it like a couple of weeks ago, and then we got into the interview that we did, and I kind of lost track of the research that I was doing. But if I could find it again while we're talking, I'll bring it up.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's a damn shame, man, because Biden has clearly said that, you know, he was the next, you know, Supreme Court justice is going to be a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why? That's not a qualification.
No.
That's not a qualification, and it undermines the achievements and accomplishments that person's had throughout their career.
Yeah. Doesn't matter
And,
what you do as long as your skin tone or your plumbing is the right way. So like for instance, Ketanji Ketanji Brown Jackson, and she's, you know, her full name. I mean, she accomplished in her own field, but the thing is that she was appointed directly because of her race and gender, for her sex and race. Right.
It undermines all her years of schooling,
All
the accomplishments, all those late nights of burning the midnight oil, trying to pass a final, all the stress of dealing with trying to of college life and trying to make a career, all those times that she had to sacrifice family time or personal time, you know, for her career. It diminished all of that, and it made it insignificant.
Yeah.
In relation to her God-given sex and race, and that's insane to me. But it's to be expected from a legitimately racist president, because this man is a racist. His quotes are long and
his track record
distinguished.
speaks for
his
itself.
track record is on camera.
Yeah, everything he has done and said on the floor of Congress, anything he's done in the Senate House has been recorded. Everything.
Yeah, everything.
He is a racist person. He always has been. You can't really contest that. Just pick up everything that he says. Like, he can say, "Oh, I've changed since." Bullshit. In the last 24 hours, get the fuck out of here. Like right before you won the election, is that when it changed? Like the day they announced, like as soon as they announced this guy's the president of the United States. Oh, sweet, I'm no longer a fucking racist. Oh shit. I'm glad that's over. No bullshit. He has been a racist his entire life. He has been a racist in Congress. He has made racist moves, racist bills, racist everything he has done that came down to how people interact with each other. He has made decisions based on race alone. It's the definition of a racist, and this is a motherfucker that got elected to office several times, at least senator seat.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. I mean, he I don't know how that's gonna play out, but it's crazy to me that naturally everything they accused everybody else of being is what they in fact have turned out to be. We're living through a time where we know beyond reasonable doubt that our president of the United States has taken monetary contributions from a foreign government. Mm-hmm. We know that his son sold the influence to a foreign government and quite possibly an adversary. We know that they've traded in secrets. We have seen the evidence. It's in the public eye. This is not something that you have to file a FOIA for, right. Freedom of Information Act on. This is all out in the open source. We have a guy that has literally on camera committed quid pro quo. We have a man whose administration has funneled billions upon billions of dollars to a foreign government for a war effort that's not entirely clear.
Right.
We have found out that through the unsealing of several documents and things that have come out to light that the COVID-19 fiasco. I mean, we're finding out a lot of things about our government that we don't like, and it's and again, it leads to nothing. Nobody does anything.
Yeah, I got a really good example of that. So, I was embarrassed to learn recently about this guy who has been in captivity for the last what? He's been in there since 2012, I think. Yeah, 2012. So this guy is a Marine Corps Captain Austin Bennett Tice. He got out of the Marine Corps, started going to law school, and he was doing freelance journalism in Syria during the Syrian Civil War. He was captured by the Syrian government, most likely, in Syria on August 13, 2012, and he hasn't been seen since except through video clips. The last time he was seen was in August 2012, and that was a video of him blindfolded. And so apparently the Syrian government and the American government have been talking about his release for 11 years now,
Oh, wow.
So, and nothing's happened, and I never knew this man existed. So, yeah, Austin Bennett Tice. He's a native of Plano, Texas. Went missing in 2012, and we know that the Syrian government is holding him. The FBI is currently offering a reward of up to $1 million for information leading directly to the safe location, recovery, and return of Austin Bennett Tice. Unfortunately for that little stipulation, I'm pretty sure the Department of State would not like you to do that because they're still trying to negotiate. The thing is, they're not negotiating very well because the man is still there. So this Marine has been there for 12 or 10, 11 years. He's been there for 11 years in Syrian captivity. Fuck knows what he's gone through. Fuck knows really if he's still alive. No idea, because I haven't seen too many articles about this guy. I've seen a few local articles around Plano, maybe 1 or 2 articles from like the year he went missing, but that's it. It's never hit mainstream. It's never been out there in any kind of serious note. But this guy's been in captivity for over a decade. There's been no proof of life given by Syria. Not that's hit any kind of news or internet or anything like that. I can't find much about him except for this FBI posting and a couple of articles. That's about it.
That's insane to me, man.
So the American guy, and the thing is, he is not alone. He is one guy in Syria. He just happened to be a captain in the United States Marine Corps, which is why I'm mentioning him right now. He's a veteran. I kind of like Marines, so
Yeah.
But this man's been in captivity for over a decade, and nothing gets done about it. He is not the only one. There are American citizens all over the world that are being held by bad actor governments for bullshit reasons. Russia, China, North Korea, Syria, Turkey, Iran. There's like 5 or 6 in Iran I'm hearing about. It's like they're under house arrest or something like that. They're still trying to negotiate. I haven't done too much research into them yet. I've done more research into Austin Bennett Tice. I'm sorry, Austin Bennett Tice.
Yeah, you wanted to call him Captain Price, didn't you?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Veteran. He's a captain of the United States Marine Corps. Got out to go to law school. Did some freelance journalism covering the Syrian Civil War. Ballsy. And he got him captured. So the American government's pretty much been ignoring him for about a decade, while they keep telling his family that they're negotiating for his release.
I mean,
if you're an American citizen overseas and you get captured by a foreign government, you might as well just consider yourself fucked, unless you were already famous before you went there. If you were famous before you went there, you'll probably be out in about 6 weeks.
I'm telling you, there's there's so much going on, man. There's so much going on. There's a lot of things going on with the Bowie stuff too, and it's just like the conspiracy started floating already. So apparently, what was that article I sent you about killing the cows and all that? Remember that?
How long ago were you talking? I remember something like that. It was vague. It was a couple of years ago you said.
No. This was like last week, bro. Like I showed it to you like last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you send it to me? Or?
Yeah. You asked me to send it to you. Sitting in the parking lot. I don't remember, man. It's up there somewhere.
Was it the one with the World Health Organization?
Yeah, we had a whole conversation
World Health Organization telling I remember it now. So the World Health Organization telling the federal government that they need to confiscate weapons and eliminate, like, what was it, like a third or a quarter of the cattle in the United States by 2025.
Yeah, so there's a lot of these weird things happening.
To fight climate change. They want to confiscate weapons to fight climate change.
Yeah, so...
Tell me how that works.
Well, it has to work.
How much carbon does cordite make, or gunpowder?
No, but you need it because farmers are going to fight you. I mean, look at what happened to that eminent domain issue we had down here in Texas at one time.
A couple of years ago, yeah.
So that became a standoff where people showed up from all over the 50 states to stop the feds. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they were right. I don't know if they were right, wrong, or indifferent in that particular case because I don't know all the details to it, but people came out from all over
Yeah.
just to help out that ranch.
Yeah.
And
I remember what that incident was called, but I do remember.
yeah, I forget. It was like people taking positions on bridges and stuff like that, and whatnot. It became a thing, but WHO.
Of course, I tried to look it up. I got nothing but Waco.
Yeah, it's
The Waco siege, 30 years ago. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for.
oof. Yeah. I can't find the article, but it's out there. And along those lines, there's a rise now with the wildfire that hit the island of Maui. Apparently devastating wildfire with 111 people so far confirmed to have been killed in the blaze. About 1,000 people are still missing and unaccounted for. The entire community has been razed to the ground. However, while this is a great tragedy, there are people seeing this destruction a phenomenal real estate opportunity. Specifically, one of the hardest hit areas by the wildfire, the centuries-old town of Lahaina, with a population of about 13,000. A fire destroyed nearly every single building, and the people who have had their homes burned down in Lahaina have reported getting phone calls by alleged investors looking to scoop up the properties. I mean, that's the reality of capitalism, but it's shitty.
Well, I mean, it's a mutual thing. It's not like they're
You don't have to sell.
exactly. You don't have to sell the land.
So it's outrageous that they're not. So that's the thing about that adage that never let a good tragedy go to waste.
Yeah.
The thing is that if somebody doesn't strike ahead, somebody else will.
Right.
It's outrageous, yes. Illegal, no.
I wouldn't even say that's outrageous. That's outrageous to people who don't know how the world works. But I mean, that's par for the course. That happens on every tragedy. Tornadoes come through. That happens.
Hurricanes it's just one of those things that they didn't even put
wars.
They didn't even put out the fire yet. And these guys
people want to snatch up land. Yeah.
Yeah. So the timing.
It's uncouth. I'd say
it's.
Yeah, it's uncouth.
It's yeah, but I mean.
But what you just said, if somebody doesn't strike that fire while it's hot, or strike that iron while it's hot, somebody else will.
Somebody else will, definitely.
So, I mean, you don't have to sell the land, but I mean, what are you going to do with it after it's burned?
I mean,
do you have the money to rehabilitate it? If not, it probably behoove you to sell it. Get a couple $100,000 on it, move your family somewhere else, better place or whatever. At least get you started and get you back on your feet. But yeah, you don't have that piece of land anymore. So I mean, it could help some of those people. Some of those people might be very grateful that some investor is willing to step in and offer them a decent chunk of change for their land. The land that they think is ruined. But the investor can see, like, 2 years from now, that burned stuff is going to be gone. Mm-hmm. Because anybody that knows anything about how plants grow, a burnt field is really good for the crop. It's really, really good.
Yeah, it's
if you're growing crops there. For any plant life, burning a lot of plant life, it's really, really good for the soil. It's really good for it.
Well, I don't know shit about farming, but I know a little bit about fires, and that shit sucks. Yeah. So, the fact that fire was so uncontained and it just there was an evac plan. They were using bullhorns. Apparently, they have a siren system, like an alarm system that was built for tsunamis and other national emergencies. Hell, they didn't. Was it the same island that they let off that freaking that nuke alarm?
Oh, I'd have to look that up.
Was it the same place?
What year was that? Do you remember?
Bro, that was like 2 years ago or 1 year ago, whatever. When we started getting all them ads for freaking anti-radiation medicine in the internet. Remember that crap? That we started. That was like last year.
That happened like last year.
That was like last year.
But that false nuke alarm. That was
nuke
2018.
Alarm? But what island was it? Because it was in Hawaii.
It might have been the entire state. Let me look it up.
Was it the entire state?
Emergency system was emergency alert system, television, radio, cell phones in the state of Hawaii. It looks like it was the entire state.
Right?
From what I'm reading, it was the entire state. It wasn't one island. It was it was the whole state.
So I mean, they're able to make mistakes and alert everybody on a mistake, but they can't alert people on an actual emergency. I mean, there's a lot of conspiracies going on out there about that fire and what the true intentions of them was. I'm not gonna delve into that because it's a disservice to the actual people that are affected by that tragedy, and it's just kind of minimizes their position in a sense to be shifting the focus away from their tragedy to some weird conspiracy. I mean, it could be true, maybe not. I don't know. I won't get into it, but for sure, those people are suffering down there, and our government isn't doing everything and everything they're supposed to be doing when it comes to this kind of stuff, and at least being, they're for sure not being vocal about it, not letting anybody know. I haven't heard a damn thing. I heard they're trying to earmark more money for Ukraine, and in the meantime, freaking, you got actual American citizens freaking dying. Got over 1,000 people unaccounted for. That's bonkers.
Yeah.
That's bonkers. Another crazy thing that I ran across. Genetically modified mosquitoes have been given the green light to be released in America.
I've heard about that. I haven't heard a lot about that, but I've heard about it.
Programs like this started in 2018 in Florida, then it was Texas. Programs are being expanded now. There's a push to be released of GMO mosquitoes in other states. Meanwhile, the global agenda driven by the World Economic Forum, there's the WHO again, the WEF.
The thing is, I think if you dig further into that little story, from what I understand about those genetically modified mosquitoes, their purpose is to limit or completely stop other mosquitoes from breeding. So to try to because what's that disease?
Zika or dengue?
No, the big one.
Malaria.
Malaria, that's the one. So malaria is like one of the number one killers of human beings. Period. It's the number one disease that kills people.
Yeah, but what do they care? It mostly kills Africans. They don't care
because it got into Florida. So
yeah. So now what? Yeah, I got you.
There have been confirmed cases of malaria.
We got white people down. I got you. Yeah.
The thing is, if you dig a little deeper into that story, that wasn't what I was getting to.
Well,
I'm still not done.
I'm gonna throw a wrench in it just to fuck with it, but
if you dig a little deeper into that story, I'm pretty sure. And I might be just talking out of my ass. I'll look it up later.
Probably,
who knows? Whatever. Probably am talking out of my ass.
Probably.
But the company that actually did the research to make those mosquitoes is owned by
Pfizer?
Bill Gates.
But, close.
Close enough.
Close, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so we're, they carried out that huge agenda, suppressing all the information about ivermectin. And
yeah. That was nuts when that came out. Like, ivermectin is just a horse medicine. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
There's a version for horses, but
no, it's not.
But it's ridiculous. It's like it'll kill you.
The guy that invented it won the Nobel Peace Prize for medicine. Yeah. What are you talking about?
It's a horse medicine.
It's prescribed by a human doctor to human people.
What did I say? What's that one medication? Doxycycline?
Doxycycline.
Yeah, doxycycline is a great anti-everything drug.
Yeah, it's a full spectrum antibiotic.
Yeah, it's full spectrum antibiotic. It's also an antiviral. It's also an anti-parasitic.
You're welcome.
But I mean, it's an awesome drug, especially if you have no idea what the hell is wrong with somebody, but there's definitely something wrong with them.
Multi-spectrum.
Yeah, bro, put them on the multi-spectrum pill, doxycycline. Get them on a dosage of doxycycline, a couple pills a day.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll fuck up their guts, but...
No, you gotta eat some with that thing, man.
Yeah.
That one of those pills is brutal.
But it's effective.
It is effective.
The doctors might never figure out what the hell was wrong with you, but it won't be wrong with you anymore.
I bet you. Yeah, I mean, I bet you they don't. I mean, hell, they administered mefloquine to us, and mefloquine had some huge psychoactive effects.
I was about to say, isn't that the shit that makes you loopy?
Yeah,
like really bad loopy.
We had major psychoactive effects off of mefloquine, so we take it Monday nights. It was a weekly malaria pill, so we took it on Mondays, and then after that, it was just kind of like Monday night. You'd have the craziest dreams, and I mean crazy, the craziest.
Right.
And I'm not talking about, okay, so I'm riding a snake and a rainbow. No, bro. Like you're doing things that are not in your nature.
Right.
You know, it's bananas. Like the things that would pop in your head, and you'd wake up fucked up. Like you'd wake up like, because you'd remember that shit. And you're looking at a team house full of grunts. And we're all like, after we're all sitting there grabbing breakfast, going like, looking at each other like, bruh, are you all right? It's like we had a guy. He ended up going to jail over that nonsense. He freaking woke up in the middle of a freaking mefloquine dream. Well, got woken up in the middle of a mefloquine dream, pointed a gun at this stupid staff sergeant that we had. I wish I remembered his damn name. I bet you my boy Greg remembers. So, to this day, Specialist Greg Luminen, Charlie Company 1325 Airborne Infantry Regiment, will live forever with a bad discharge for being woken up in the middle of the night after a mefloquine dream because this freaking staff sergeant decided that his life was in danger because he pointed a gun at him. Nobody looked into the mitigating circumstances of that event, and they put this guy through hell. You know.
That sucks.
So, if he listens to this podcast or whatever, I got him on Facebook. You know, but it's crazy. Yeah, he lived through that. Ended up having to freaking go to the brig and all this other stuff. Fantastic soldier. I mean, had a moment that wasn't out of his own doing.
Yeah.
So
it's drug induced, and drugs are issued by the military.
Drugs that he was forced to drink. You know, so don't ever make that right. You know, took that boy's career away. Yep. You know, and it's a shame. It's a shame, but that's the government. I mean, but I'll tell you, the FDA sent out a public message not to take ivermectin. 3 doctors that were disciplined for prescribing it to their patients filed a lawsuit against the FDA. The main issue in question is whether the FDA was putting out across the line, because according to federal law, the FDA was allowed to provide information. According to federal law, the FDA is allowed to provide information, but they're not allowed to provide medical advice, which is exactly what the doctors are arguing that took place.
So they provided medical advice rather than...
Well, of course. I mean, well, that happened everywhere. I mean, hell, Twitter executives were basically influencing medical advice from actual medical doctors that are telling you this is how you mitigate this virus, because this is what I've done in my hospital through hundreds and hundreds of patients, and I haven't lost a single one yet. Yeah. And they were freaking canceled, suppressed, and whatever. That Sanjay freaking piece of shit lady, that squarehead freaking Indian lady that was on, that was the Twitter exec.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about a doctor or something. Okay, yeah.
No, that
Twitter
piece of
exec,
shit, that Twitter exec. She's not a doctor. She's a fucking
yeah.
nobody, a scumbag. Freaking should be drug out by her freaking ankles by wild dogs and eaten, left to fucking rot in the desert. That's what she should be doing. It's you know, that freaking idiot, you know, she's complicit. I mean, I can't wait for our version of Nuremberg. If it ever happens.
It won't happen.
It probably won't.
It won't happen.
A boy can dream.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the dream.
That'd be about all it boils down to.
I'm okay with the dream. It's all right.
That will never, you know that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, duh. I mean, come on. Well, but, you know, but one can dream that bad people are going to actually get held accountable
Yeah.
for being bad people.
Only if they're poor.
Oh, yeah.
Only if they're fucking poor.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they're rich and pieces of shit, carry on being a rich piece of shit.
Well, I mean, hell, it's
If you're poor and a piece of shit, you're gonna carry on in a prison.
Yep, but so there's a petition going around now. Get rid of electronic voting machines.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Even if they do get the signatures necessary, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, why would they get rid of them?
No, it's a useful tool.
Of course. It got them the last election.
So how else are you going to manipulate votes on a fucking whim?
Yeah. Then the FBI raided that freaking 75-year-old dude.
I still don't know what's going on with that guy. I heard about that.
I don't know.
Killed him. But.
Yeah, it killed him. He pointed a gun at feds, man. Excuse me.
I mean, the feds really need to be there. So he made threats against...
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
What I understand, he made threats against the President of the United States. Given that he's like 73 some odd years old and disabled, like he has mobility issues.
It still has to be investigated.
Investigated, sure, but I mean... Call him into a local office instead of sending feds to his door.
Breaking the law.
Right.
Yeah. No, he's got to go, bro.
But I mean, do they have a reasonable suspicion that this guy was actually capable of carrying out his threats?
You got to go.
I don't know what threats he was making. I have no idea.
Well, the threat. It's wrong think.
Oh, is that it? It's wrong think.
Wrong think. That's contagious, bro. You know what I mean? You got to start talking like they talk, thinking how they talk, how they think. You know, all that. You can't be, you know. Hell, this is the government that put a legitimate, no BS, for a very brief period of time, an information of minister, Department of Misinformation. That happened.
Yeah. I remember. I was here.
A 1984 Orwellian Ministry of Information propped up.
What did they actually call it? They had a name for it.
It had a name.
Is it still there?
It's still there. It's just not a... It's probably more subversive now than anything, but this is the country that did that.
The Disinformation Governance Board.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's the DGB instead of the KGB.
It writes itself, man. It writes itself, man. Tell me these fuckers aren't after us. You know what I mean?
Like, we didn't plan out this show. I didn't look this shit up.
So you watch that.
I googled Department of Misinformation. The first thing that comes up is Disinformation Governance Board, the DGB, and the KGB, I guess.
Yeah.
What?
I'll tell you, man. Like all this stuff. My family looks at me and say, "Man, you're a quack," you know. I was like, "Look at this guy," you know. It's like I'm not making this stuff up. This stuff is real.
During the Department of Homeland Security. Here's the first question: is there still a disinformation board? August 24th, 2022. Department of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas disbanded the board. It's been disbanded since 2022.
Yeah, he was forced.
But it's Mayorkas.
Yeah.
That shit ain't disbanded, bro. That shit just went underground.
No, it's on the black budget, bro. Come on. It just that program just went black. That's all that did. Because
I The DGB.
The DGB. Yeah. Under Mayorkas? You think Mayorkas?
Is giving up power? No.
That tyrant? That's another guy. He needs to be drug out by wolves to the wilderness. You know, it's bonkers, man. Tell me these dudes don't have to fucking get the American citizen, man.
It's all about power.
But that's all right, because Brandon Herrera will set us free. He's running for Congress.
Is he?
Uh-huh. District 23, I believe, out of Texas.
Isn't it the San Antonio district?
It's, I think it's part of San Antonio, but...
Like, it's the district that goes from San Antonio to El Paso, right?
Southwest.
Or one district.
Yeah.
And I thought he was a good person.
He is?
Yeah. I think of the name you're using.
He is.
I know who Brandon Herrera is. He's a decent dude.
Yeah, fucking cool guy.
Brandon Herrera for Congress.
Yes.
Oh my God, that photo. That's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Fucking belt fed right on the damn thing.
Yes.
Nice suit, too.
Yeah, dude's got it going on, man.
I don't live in his district, so I mean.
Yeah, we're not in his district, but
I think that belt fed's badass.
But it's
That I saw.
I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at.
Picture.
Well, duh.
No, that's a 240. Yeah, it's definitely 240.
Yeah, it was the Disinformation Governance Board, or known as the Biden's Ministry of Truth.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's taken out of the 1984 playbook.
Yeah.
What was that country called in 1984? The actual book, the
fuck, you know, I don't
Oceania
know.
or something like that.
Crashtanovia or some shit.
I'm
starting to mix them up with all the fictitious countries in Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the DOJ and the FBI have been subpoenaed for the social media censorship. That'll lead to nothing.
I was about to say that's not going to go anywhere.
Of course not.
Oh, they've been subpoenaed. Oh, there goes the evidence. Stop subpoenaing these motherfuckers and start doing raids. So they can't destroy the evidence, because that's what they're doing every fucking time. That's exactly what they're doing. No, you're right. They can't. They cannot put a warrant on the FBI office. They can't put a warrant on the FBI archives. They can't put a warrant on NSA. They can't put a warrant on DHS. They can't put a warrant on any of these federal offices.
Yeah, you're asking Darth Vader to investigate himself.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know, but that's the only way you're going to actually do it. You can't subpoena these people and say, oh, here's what is it called? Subpoena ducis tecum? Yeah, you can't put out a subpoena ducis tecum on these people to bring all evidence forward so we can take a look at what the hell's going on. No, they're going to fucking destroy it every fucking time.
Yeah, look at what Hillary did.
Because they're culpable.
Hillary did it.
Hillary
got away with it, too.
Yep. Didn't even apologize. Say, yeah, fuck you, get the evidence.
Paid a fine or some bullshit.
I don't even know if that happened.
Well, yeah, it did happen. It's because now she can't be freaking tried twice. So she was punished for it, and now she's free of prosecution.
Yeah.
A couple $1,000s or whatever the hell it was. So, you know, well, she probably paid our Clinton Foundation fund that she established to apparently rebuild Haiti.
Trust.
That never ended up happening, and then they built 2 houses in Haiti after collecting millions upon millions of dollars, and then hit the freaking money in Panama. Anywho, it's come on, these freaking people, man, from freaking trafficking cocaine into freaking Arkansas, and then all this other nonsense. I mean, this So for a long
Little Rock
time,
specifically.
for many years, decades, I dare to say, I just thought this was all of it was all conspiratorial, freaking tinfoil hat wearing, gobbledygook bullshit.
Yeah.
And anybody that even mentioned that freaking Dixie Mafia nonsense and whatever, I look at them like they were freaking retarded. I just like there is something wrong with you. I was like, you need to get some help, whatever. There ain't no way. Until freaking Biden. And all the nonsense started coming out. It's been there this entire time. I don't know what that beep was, but
I'm just glad you heard it too. I'm not going insane.
yeah, this thing has kind of like that.
I don't mind the beep. I just want to know that somebody else heard it.
Yeah,
All right.
no, yeah, you're still here. It's the feds downstairs. Remember? Told you. The feds downstairs that are recording. So it's
We're gonna post it anyway.
we're gonna post it. You don't have to waste taxpayer dollars. Oh, what am I thinking? So
At least cut me in. Shit.
yeah. I mean, hell, y'all can see. They can come in here and sit down.
Yeah.
For all I give a shit. I was like,
It'd be awkward for them.
yeah, it'd be awkward for them because I'm not. Yeah. We're our era of being freedom fighters is kind of long past. It's just kind of like we're freedom talkers. But it's freaking crazy, man. Like all this stuff that's come out, it's bananas. And then you like sit there and you're like,
and that's the thing. If it were one thing, if it were just one thing, it'd be like, well, yeah, there's always a bad apple in the fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's not just one thing. It's an entire thing, an entire department, an entire agency, an entire government, an entire system.
It's insane to me.
What the
insane to
fuck?
me. So for those of you guys that are tuning in to us and just kind of watching our show, and so we get our information dumped from many different sources. I'm subscribed.
It's not just the internet.
I'm subscribed to many different sources that just try to get unbiased and unfiltered, information. Some of the stuff, of course, is just garbage, and I'll throw that over the shoulder and whatnot. But then, I mean, you see it on live TV, and you see it develop, or you see it develop in real time. And you're like, oh man, this is pretty shady. But Epoch Times, they have a pretty robust library of articles. So Wikipedia, little known thing for Wikipedia that a lot of people don't really pay attention to. Wikipedia in and of itself should not be used as a source for your final opinions on things and whatnot, because they're created by a person and just kind of like it's an op-ed for all intents and purposes. But within the topic of what you're searching, if you actually scroll down to the bottom and look at the source material where it comes from, that's where your real nuts and bolts of Wikipedia comes into play. So Wikipedia is not a great source, but is a great source for sources. So
if anybody out there listening is going to college, that's how you fluff your sources at the end of a report.
Correct. So
you're welcome.
To my daughter who hasn't called me in a week, even though freaking she's in college. So if you get to see this thing, Wikipedia, you scroll down to the bottom and check out the sources. That's where you get the nuts and bolts of all your information. But Epoch Times, Wikipedia, and then there's a couple other podcasts that are out there that are short format, kind of like quick, fast, quick fire, get you a couple laughs and just kind of move on. I'm not a comedian by trade, so it's just kind of like I'm not gonna sit here and write comedy for y'all. It's just I just can't. But the Jimmy Dore podcast, he has some pretty interesting takes on things, and they're pretty short, 10, 15-minute videos, and a lot of the times that'll be my foothold on some of this information, and then I'll branch out from there and start researching. But there's a lot, man. There's so much. I mean, I sat down the other day, a buddy of mine freaking brought up, it's like, man, dude, it's been 20 years since the war and all this other stuff, and I'm like, I mean, yeah, 20 years for him because he was one and done, but I'd I ended up doing 12 years of that stuff. So I fought most of the war on terror, but I wondered, I was like, dude, so were we the bad guys? Like this whole time? You know, it's just...
That's the thing. If
I mean, 'cause I didn't feel like the bad guy.
That's my opinion of it. Like on the grand scope of things, that's my opinion of it. You have to define what is a good guy, what is a bad guy. I think at the end of the day, there's really no such thing, especially in a situation like that. Could that have been handled without military assets, without soldiers on the ground? Yeah, I think so.
I mean, yeah, but like Iraq. So you got
Iraq could have been handled without soldiers.
Iraq shouldn't have happened.
But if the end goal,
in my opinion,
goal was to get Saddam Hussein and his family out of the governance of that country, you could totally do that without soldiers.
No,
you
the
use
end
special
goal-
operations and CIA to fucking actually do shit like that.
But that's the thing. The end goal wasn't that. The end goal
But
was to...
And that's the thing. We know publicly what the goal was. And that's about it.
Well, we know that Iraq, Iran, Syria, and all these other Middle Eastern countries were going to move away from the dollar to do oil trading. And
part of it. But what was the public told? That's not what the public was told.
No, yellow cake, bro.
That's part of that too. Weapons of mass destruction.
Yellow cake.
Yeah.
Mass destruction.
To prevent Iraq from providing weapons of mass destruction to terrorist organizations that would later attack the United States with those WMDs. That was the public.
And no bid contracts.
And no bid and there's a beep again. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay. But I mean, yeah, no bid contracts. I mean, and you get to test all your military stuff, and you get to get all your soldiers, combat experienced and battle tested and all this other stuff.
Yeah, you do your R&D.
Right.
I mean, it's
It
a lot
also had huge medical advancements. We got quick clot out of that war. I was about to say click clot.
You think it's been a while, hasn't it? See what's up.
No, of course not. Yeah, it's been ages.
Oh man, you gotta start dating communists, bro. It's just like that's all that's out there.
I probably wouldn't be. Well, I don't know. Do we both have to put in equal work, or? I guarantee you ain't both equally gonna come. So.
Yeah, you could be a dictator. It's all right.
Oh yeah, it'll be a dictator. So I bust them out.
Yeah, but
that's on you. Baby. But I mean, the whole thing is like, what was the government's actual end goal and what was the public told? Because they're completely different things. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you got the public being told that it's about weapons of mass destruction. Well, they went in and found out they had weapons of mass destruction. Mm-hmm. All evidence points to they got rid of them before we ever stepped into that country. They got rid of them to get rid of the sanctions that were already on them. Mm-hmm. And they did. And then we went in because of WMDs. Well, that was bullshit. So what's the real reason we actually went in there? Well, we got the dollar thing that they're thinking about going with Saudi Arabia and the BRICS nations to get away from the dollar and start doing oil trading in some other currency other than the U.S. dollar. Then you have the other thing, what I just said, is getting Saddam Hussein and his family out of the governance of that country, which really wouldn't benefit the United States very much because foreign policy, you want a dictator in another country because a dictator is the only person you have to deal with. If you have a country like the United States or their government is set up just like the United States, you ain't dealing with just the president. You're dealing with every member of Congress, and you're dealing with like state governors and shit like that. But if you just have one person to deal with, that's just one person you got to deal with. And you can buy one person.
Well, he has been.
It's a lot harder to buy an entire body of governors.
So, I mean, that's the thing.
Damn it.
Yeah, you keep karate chopping that thing.
Hey, look, man. I've got arms, and it's in front of me.
Put your hands in your pocket.
That's not happening.
You've done it before.
Okay, it's not happening right now. I need the keyboard. I have Palpatine memes to share.
Oh, shit.
And they will be shared. Okay. What were you going to say?
Well, I mean, it's just... I don't know, man. Like, you got two of the chairmen of Halliburton starting war. Contract KBR. I don't know. It's just kind of like... We're all talking about Brandon's laptop, and you know that still hasn't been brought up. You mean to tell me two former chairmen of Halliburton, respectively President, Vice?
I know what you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about the people?
Yeah, I'm talking about freaking
Bush and Cheney. Yeah.
Bush and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't referencing him when I said Palpatine memes. I meant actual Palpatine memes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, they start this thing, and on a false premise, get all these people to sell it. All these patsies. We go in there, freaking
huge military-industrial complex move right there. I mean, KBR, Halliburton are what? Logistics, security,
life support.
They're
fantastic
transportations.
Job. We just didn't need to be there.
Supply management, warehousing.
But I mean, that's the thing. That's what
they
moves.
had huge sites in Kuwait.
But that's what moves our economy, anyways. War. So it's just kind of like that's basically what we export to the world is war. So, I mean, but I mean, it's
and corn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. While Donald Trump was in charge, it was rice too.
We did produce a lot of rice. Yeah.
We sold rice to the Chinese.
We sold more rice than the Chinese.
We sold it to
3 years. Yeah, we did.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Americans selling rice to the Chinese of all countries.
Yeah. Not no more.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, man. That I sat around and wondered. I was like, man, are we the bad guys on this? And you know what? Like you said, it's kind of it's just kind of relative.
There's no such thing as bad guy or good guy. It's just what opinion do you have right now?
It's just shitty.
It is shitty. I think so.
It's just shitty.
Did we do shitty stuff over there? No. As individual soldiers, we didn't.
Well,
okay, then I'll speak for myself. As individual soldiers, we didn't really do that many shitty things. I mean, we might have made mistakes. We might have done things that...
No, that was a mistake.
That pole was shooting back.
Yeah, it's just...
I think only like one person would get that reference if they're watching.
Oh, that tank.
Oh, no, don't say shit.
Oh, yeah. I know it. I know the story. I know the story. Yeah, but yeah, it's just I don't know, man. But moved on from that. I try not to dwell on it. It's kind of moot point. Nobody else is dwelling on it. The people responsible for putting us there sure as hell ain't.
No.
So.
And the thing is, we're just two guys talking on the internet.
I'm not gonna. But I did see some of the freaking. Oh my God! So the anniversary of our Marines and our paratrooper that died at the Abbey Gate at freaking Kabul International Airport. The anniversary kind of rolled by, and there was a lot of stuff coming out about those guys. Some of the families testified in front of Congress about the inactions and the ineptitude of that withdrawal and asking for people to be held to account. And, of course, nothing's going to happen because they don't give a damn about those 12 Marines and the paratrooper that died. And they never did. Mm-hmm. They don't care about the Afghans. They didn't care about any of that nonsense. They knew they had to freaking abandon Afghanistan because the Chinese told them to get the hell out of there because they're about to start mining all that lithium, and it's time to go because Daddy China said you got to skedaddle. Right. So now you put a date. I don't care how you do it. Get the hell out of there. We're gonna pay you. So as China develops their incredible green infrastructure that they're not using themselves because they got farms of thousands and thousands of freaking e-vehicles just sitting around in yards that they don't use. They still need the lithium, the cobalt, and all the precious minerals that they're mining all over the planet to sell to us, while at the same time pushing all their crappy products without any tariffs all over our buy apps. Like you see their the takeover of shitty products on freaking Amazon.
Like Temu, Wish.com, something like that.
Temu.
Oh, you're talking about...
I'm talking about the flood of garbage. Flood of garbage. So back only a few years ago, if you wanted to buy garbage, you bought it off of Wish.
Yeah.
And that was about the long and short of it. You went on Wish, you bought your junk, and you got junk like 5 months later.
When we were trying to do things for this.
We're looking for cameras, man. And it was like identical models, 4K cameras at affordable prices, specifically designed for podcasting. And the prices were right, but the brands didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It was like Sam Blung and Tobiba and other and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I was like, these ain't. And we started looking into it, and the reviews were all like weird, like that's not how Americans talk.
They can't speak English.
They can't speak English, so they got like a pool. They got a bullpen full of freaking Chinese people that are in there at gunpoint, freaking writing 5-star reviews for these products. And these products are coming in without any tariffs or any bullshit, because Donald Trump had put tariffs and all kinds of restrictions on the Chinese government. But China Joe over here, who's on the take, he ain't freaking so shy about that. So now they're flooding the market. And why would freaking Jeff Bezos say anything bad about it? He's making money hand over fist. I mean, he's a businessman, so he's not going to say no to that. And people buying that junk anyways. So then this other website comes out with that's been around for a hot minute, but it's kind of like made a resurgence. Is that Temu freaking app, which is now being pushed by a couple popular YouTubers and stuff like that. And it is an intelligence gathering tool for the freaking the government of China.
Yeah.
And when you access this app and you give it the permissions to actually access it, it's accessing all of your digital data, your entire digital footprint, all of it, pictures, hard drive access
contacts.
to contacts, any other software or hardware that you are that's linked to you has been given access to the Chinese government. Now, the popular thing is, well, I don't do anything crazy, so the fuck does it matter if the Chinese got my info? I don't really give a shit. I don't do anything. Don't matter to me. Well, it matters when when this government subscribes to the social credit scores.
Yeah.
And they adopt the model from China with all the information that's been gathered from China.
That's the thing when people can't.
It's crazy.
Trend study and research is actually a pretty informative thing when you want to see. You get an idea of what's going to happen, like a little bit down the road, maybe a couple months down the road, maybe a couple years down the road, maybe a couple decades down the road. So, like, if you just dabble into it, like everything, just like trends research, stuff like that.
Right.
So here's the thing you get out of trends research, and I kind of make it akin to signals intelligence. You get little pieces of information, and you might be able to kind of see a picture with those pieces, but probably not. And that's what it kind of is, just clues, just little clues.
Right.
And this is a clue of how things are going to go. So if the government, in which it is already doing, is doing research and testing into doing an all digital currency system, a cryptocurrency for American currency and American exchange. In other words, there's no more paper money, there's no more coin money. Everybody carries some kind of card or some kind of something to where they are identified and their account is identified, and now that account is being used in an exchange to get rid of some money from that account and to purchase something and put that money into somebody else's account for the purposes of purchase. The Chinese already do it. It's not a maybe thing. It's not a research thing. The Chinese already do that. The Chinese, and if you can look on YouTube for information about this, there are Chinese people, Chinese nationals that have talked about this. It is already happening. They already do it, and the Chinese can shut you off like that. Like if you say something against the Chinese Communist Party, you no longer have access to cars. Like you can't rent a car and go from like this part of town to this part of town. You have like a restricted mileage that you can use, or you can't get medical care that week. Or you can't get like medicine, or you can't get bandages, or you can't buy anything, or you can't talk to people, you can't go places. That's the social credit score thing, and it's like they restrict your ability to use money based on your social credit score because of what you're saying about the Chinese Communist Party, or what you're saying about communism in general, or about Xi Jinping, or about the Chinese Liberation Army, or anything like that. If you're saying some shit that the government doesn't like, they can just shut you off or restrict your account severely to where life sucks. No matter how much money you make, life sucks.
Yeah, they geofence the hell out of you. Like, there's no, I mean, it's... But
that's the thing. These little tidbits of information, like the government is researching going to an all-digital currency. You don't do that unless you really need to control what the people are able to spend their money
on. So it's
where they're able to spend money.
So it's one of these things. So there's of course the popular saying that it's like, well, as long as we got guns, as long as we got guns. Okay, well the problem is that when you buy ammo for these guns, they'll know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't have guns registered here in Texas. I mean, none of
Yeah.
So I may or may not own any. I'm not going to tell you.
And that's the thing. Like,
But
in places like Texas, private sale is still legal. So
private sale is still legal. So yeah,
you could sell me a gun. Nothing needs to happen. As long as you
Correct.
reasonably understand that I am an upstanding citizen, that I'm not a felon or anything like that, you reasonably believe that, you can sell me a gun with no background check. That's the
Right.
private sale thing. So it's just one person to another. Now, if you're a business owner, you have to do a background check.
right.
So, and that's the checks on gun ownership. But and it's not just ammo. It's anything around guns, gun cleaning supplies.
Yeah,
Optics.
yeah, and that's what I'm getting at. Like anything that can be associated to the ownership or operation of firearms can be now tracked, and a ghost registry built at the as a backdrop to or as an alternative to actually having a gun registry, because they don't need to know that you have a 30-06 in the freaking closet,
Right.
but they just know that you've bought X amount of ammo or X amount of what, and now you could be classified as a gun owner,
Right.
just because that's what those products are for. They're not for anything else. So that registration could then open the door for you to be, to have your privacy invaded, depending on whatever reasons they manufacture. And this starts from just an innocent thing, and it's created to be innocent. It's created to be just to pass under the radar without you noticing, and just not something that's going to jump out at you as something dangerous. But people forget. I've been called the nut job, tinfoil hat wearing to my face for thinking about these things.
See, nobody's ever called me that. And that's because I don't talk to too many
Well, you
people.
don't talk to people, so people ask me, I'll tell you all about it, all that I think I know about it. Now, have you ever? So think about this for a second. Have you sat around and thought about a product that you may need or you may want, like a want, and you haven't told anybody, you haven't.
Oh, I know where you're going.
You haven't voiced it. You haven't said anything to anybody, and then that product shows up on your as an advertisement. That same product that you're thinking about shows up on your Facebook or on your Twitter or whatever feed. Pick your poison. That's not. They're not reading your mind. They're not, but they can accurately read your trends.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Trends research is
so they can accurately read and anticipate your trend, and it's we're creatures of patterns and behaviors that are unique. I mean, especially if you're a blue collar type person, depending on the industry that you're a part of, we can totally predict exactly what are the things that you are going to be into. These are part of package developing when you're developing a strike package for somebody. So you if you have that much intel about what they do for a living, you got a carpenter, then you're like, okay, well, it stands to reason that if he's a carpenter, he's into wood, he's into nails, he's into hammers, he's into, and based on that very simplified version of it, you're able to determine trends. Would you prefer to drive? Would you prefer to what stores you prefer to shop? What items would you prefer to own? And it gets to the point where you think, man, they're reading my mind. They're not reading your mind. They're reading your trends. Yeah. So
and here's the thing: people might hear all that, and if you put everything together, and like the government has total control over currency and monetary, and they're able to see exactly what you spend your money on and what you gain money from, people might think, well, what's the harm in that? If the government knows what's where money is being spent, then you can't spend it on anything illegal because the government would know about it, and they'd probably charge you or arrest you or whatever the hell. Because I mean, you can't buy a kilo of Coke on some kind of like social credit system. You'd have to have cash to buy it secretly. So I mean, you can't spend the money that way. If you don't have cash available, then you can't buy it, right? Well, that's pretty an asinine way of thinking. Here's the other thing. Well, what if my friend needs money to feed his kids? Can I not give him the money? Here's the thing. If I can give him the money, is the government going to tax one or both of us for that? Because the IRS does tax for gifts.
But they already do.
Yeah, that's
So
the thing. If you declare it. If I had to hand you $1,000 and nobody knows about it, there's no way to tax it. $1,000 in cash.
Well, true, but they'll tax it anyways because whatever I spend that money on gets taxed.
Yeah, it's taxed for sales tax.
So, so they'll get theirs at the end. It doesn't matter if they don't tax it an additional time on top of that, but the money that comes from your employer to your bank account already taxed.
It's taxed,
out of your bank to the store, taxed sales tax. Mm-hmm. So they tax money on top of tax money on top of tax money, and with all these taxes that are happening with your income, just on an everyday basis, the lack of representation for that taxation and why we're not in a shooting war is amazing to me. Because we fought wars for a lot less. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not advocating for it because I think a lot of this stuff can be done through other means. Nowadays, in 2023, we have many different avenues of approach and many, many different things. But, those grassroots movements that'll put the right people in positions of power or put the right people in positions of decision making, they take a long time to manifest.
Right.
But it's one of those things. Like I believe that the federal government's done their due diligence with controlling the population and geofencing the society into either your 9-to-5 job, putting you in that box, and allowing you to freaking take the shit sandwich that you have to eat.
Yeah. That's what I keep saying to people. It's like, the reason we're not in a shooting war is very, very simple. Very, very basic and very, very simple. Why? Yeah. Is because you got to work in the morning.
Yeah, I got to work on Monday, bro. Got to work on Monday. You think so? Yeah, it's like, well, so we're gonna become the Taliban. Say you're gonna fight wars by seasons. Yeah. Because.
The field has to come in.
The field has to come in. The cattle has to be tended to. It's just kind of like. It's they know how to manipulate it and how to play the game way better than we'll ever be able to. So it's
right.
And it's what's funny is that it is a repeatable algorithm. It's something that's repeatable no matter who's in power in those agencies. They'll be able to pick up where the last guy left off and continue seamlessly. But it's bananas how it's going, and I hate to see how people sometimes get kind of wrapped up in the nonsense of it all. Sometimes you just gotta jump off the wheel, man, and take a look around, smell the fresh air, and just kind of take a vacation or two. But it's crazy, and it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets a lot better, but. There are a lot of good things happening out there in the world anyways, so try to get your little victories and your little happiness wherever you can, laugh with your friends, enjoy the time that we got left on this earth, don't sweat the small stuff, a lot of this stuff is it's above all of our pay grades anyways, and there ain't a whole lot that people can do about it other than just protect your family, protect your kids, keep putting food on the table however you can. Learn different things. Keep your mind open. That's what this podcast is mostly about. Try to get you to do research. What you got?
Nothing.
Why'd you squint your eyes at me? You want to buy some?
Do you have a march or something?
You want to buy some land in Maui?
Yeah. How much?
Bro, I don't fucking know. You're the fucking realtor.
It's true. I might be able to put some feelers out there, see if I can get them for like $25 an acre. That's pretty fucked up. I didn't mean that.
Yeah, you fucking did. Yeah, you fucking did. I mean, might as well. You can't beat them, join them. But,
Geez, I have no idea how much land in any island of Hawaii would go for.
Man.
See, the actual island of Hawaii is the biggest one, right? And then you got...
Dude, don't even give me...
I don't know anything about Hawaii. I know Maui is a separate island. And like Kauai or Kauai, I have no idea. But
there's several islands, Oahu and freaking some of the other ones, but it's a...
How much does land go for down there? I don't know.
A lot, man. Shit. Freaking loaf of bread was like $9 the other day.
This chick's still low.
Biden sent $700 checks to them people.
To where?
citizens of Maui.
$700 for what?
Yeah, he's that freaking brain dead, freaking Weekend at Bernie's motherfucker is living in the 80s, bro.
Wait a minute, what did he think the $700 was going to cover?
Everything, bro.
Fuck off.
Everything, bro. So
add a zero or two to that.
We're subsidizing Ukrainian salaries, Ukrainian retirement pensions.
Yeah.
Look it up. That we're subsidizing salaries of Ukrainians and their pensions. And this asshat has the balls to say, "Oh, send $700," and then mumble some other nonsense. Yeah, that's what he. This is like a gallon of milk costs like $10. Dude, come on, bro.
Dude, it's already for sale.
What?
This picture is 22 hours ago. The land is burnt.
Yeah.
Like there's like charred next to a road. 1 acre, $10,000. Dude, that's not bad at all. I'd be hard pressed to find $10,000 an acre around here.
Yeah, but
I might be able to find it in like a 300 acre plot, and it's boiled down to like $1,000 or $10,000 an acre, but
correct.
it's like $3 or $4 million.
Correct.
But
The
like
thing is that
300 acres.
I don't like buying land that I can't do anything with. It's just kind of like, I mean,
What?
I mean,
You could
what-
always do something with land.
I mean, I'd have to resell that. Is
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
getting
the
at.
point.
Like, I just had to hold on to it and resell it, because there's not a whole lot I can do. I don't have I'll have money for the land, but not the house.
Here's the thing. I'll say this right now. I want to say this right now, just in case anybody catches this and actually thinking about making an investment in Hawaii. There is going to be so many scams associated with this.
Yes.
So many. A lot of this land is not for sale. It's not ever going to be for sale. But somebody's going to put it up as if it is for sale, and they're going to scam the shit out of you.
Well, the thing is, there's over 1,000 people missing. So.
Yeah.
We ran into this in Baghdad. For those of you that view the podcast or whatever, or know me, or were in Baghdad with me, you remember the villas in that's I don't know, something started going on.
What the hell was that?
I don't know, the feds.
You never heard that in here before?
Probably this thing. I don't know. Don't matter. Anywho, y'all remember the villas in the IZ? Yeah, you'll get there, try to set up shop, put a team house in the international zone, and some random Iraqi would show up and be like, you pay me $20,000 a month. We have no idea if that was his house or not. No clue. Because that city was evacuated during the people ran for the hills after the shock and awe campaign, and all these multi-million-dollar homes built out of solid stone in a very affluent part of Baghdad, which we converted into the international zone.
Yeah.
Those houses, somebody just stepped up and said, that one's mine. And if you show up over there with your PMC going like, man, I need a team house, and there'll be a broker, and the broker will talk to his cousin who's now the owner of this house, and he's like, you pay me $20,000 a month, you're like, oh shoot, all right,
Ingenuitive scammers.
yeah, I mean, but how can you dispute it? You can't. It's not, you can't go to a tax office and find it. You can't find any titles. You can't. It's gone. There's nobody there. There's nobody you can reference to. So, and in a couple circumstances, in a couple situations, the owner actually came back. I was like, who the fuck are you guys, and why are you in my house? Get these freaking armored cars the fuck out of here, and these sandbags, and take them with you. I live here. It's like, well, where were you? Well, away from the war, stupid. But I live here, and I'd stay here and get bombs dropped on my head. So yeah, I took my family to freaking the UAE while all this stuff passed. Now that it's not here no more, we're back, and this is my house. Get the fuck out of it. And you had to grab a few PMCs had to grab all their toys and just kind of like, oh shoot, we're on the side of the road now. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy, man. I'm telling you. Those are cowboy days back in the day, man. It's bonkers. But that kind of same stuff, you can most definitely anticipate that frenzy happening in Maui right now with properties where you cannot find the owner, and anybody could just step up and claim it and sell it to you.
Those kinds of scams happen in the United States all the time. It's a pretty prevalent real estate scam. People will try to like. The one I ran across was a house for sale, and somebody and it was around here. It's around Central Texas. House was for sale, and somebody in like New Jersey put it up on like Craigslist for rent, and it's like, hey, send me the money for the first and last month, and we'll go ahead and send you the paperwork and the keys so we can get everything going. Yeah, dude fell for it. Sent the money to like a Cash App or something, or first and last month's rent. And then no contact. Well, yeah, you just sent the guys like $1,000.
Yeah.
Of course he just took it. Peace.
Yeah, of course. He deuced out on
Thanks for the money, dummy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, scams happen all the time.
What was your first clue? The freaking app, the iTunes freaking cards you had to buy? It's like, go to Walgreens right now.
Yeah, give me iTunes cards.
iTunes cards.
I need
for
the Steam cards, the Xbox cards, whatever they are.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. It's like... So watch out for scams, man. If you're actually looking for some real estate opportunities, no matter where you're at, but just make sure that you're actually talking to an actual realtor. And
every state has a real estate commission.
So don't just buy from the owner. Get a realtor to actually.
Well,
I mean, I wouldn't. Not in that situation.
What I would suggest...
Not in that situation. I'd get a realtor in that situation all the time. Every time.
I'd get a realtor to do your negotiations for you. If you're trying to buy property,
absolutely.
Even if you're buying a property that's for sale by owner, that's fine. But get a realtor to buy it.
Yeah.
To buy it for, to represent you in that.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that do the legwork. They're the ones that do a lot of the research. And, like, is this property actually for sale? Is this person actually the owner of the property? All that kind of stuff. So they'll be the ones that'll be able to verify if this person is just a scammer, or that's a legit property that's up on the market and you can buy it.
Right on. But you got anything else for this week, man?
I covered the one thing I really wanted to cover was Tice, Captain Tice being captured by Syria.
Yeah, let's try to make a little noise on about Captain Tice and try to get that Marine out of there.
Yeah. He's been captive of the Syrian government for over a decade.
All we can do, I mean, we're on a shoestring budget just personally anyways. Yeah. So we're blue collar dudes, so we don't have
How long have we been doing this show? This is the 16th episode, right?
It is episode 16, yeah.
And we've missed a couple weeks here and there, so we've been doing this for about a year now, right?
Almost, man. Yeah. Since last year.
So this is what we've gotten in a year.
Yeah. That's it. But hey, we have fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
We have fun talking to you guys, and we're improving our skills every day.
Hit us up in the comments.
Hit us up in the comments, and we'll try to find some links for you guys. See what we can do. See if we can rattle enough sabers over here to try to get make enough noise to get this captain out of captivity.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it for this week's At Ease cast. We just kind of sitting around, shooting the bull around the campfire. Not a whole lot going on for us that we want to.
We'll try to reach out to more local candidates. Put some of those shows up on there.
We have a couple more interviews coming up. I mean, we got political candidates that we've been talking to, and we got a couple other people that want to plug in their things, and just kind of like, I mean, we're always game for having a guest, if you got a cool story or something, or just kind of BS and just hang out with us, it's fine. I don't have a problem with that, but yeah, so like and subscribe. Don't forget, share it, like it, give us comments, let us know, give us feedback, whatever you want to hear. And if you guys got a topic you guys want us to freaking chop to pieces or whatever.
Yeah, if y'all got suggestions for something you want covered on the show, we want to hear more about. We're both professional researchers. So.
Right. I mean, he's more of a researcher than I am. But I'm getting there. I'm slowly freaking, getting there. But yeah. So have a nice week. You guys take care.